What's up, everybody? It's Tyler here, and I'm joined by an awesome guest. She put out her debut record in the beginning of March, and it's called Is It Just Me? Meg McRee joins me. Meg, what's going on?
I'm just hanging out. I'm in Nashville, sitting on my porch, drinking a little coffee, talking to my new friend Tyler, loving it,
Hey, I've got
having
my
a blast.
me too. I've got my new friend Meg on here too, and I just want to start this off with saying that I love doing these interviews with artists, but it's more special to me when I'm talking to somebody that writes their own songs on the majority of them. And you're a big time songwriter in town. You've had songs cut by lots of big artists in Nashville and outside
Oh,
of Nashville. Now, for yourself, you were a co-writer on every single song on the record. How important was that for you as the artist slash songwriter?
so I kind of originally started in music, and I was like, I would be cool with just being a songwriter, whatever. I want to record my own music, but I just like at the center of it all for me was always a song and like writing the best song I could. And so I started writing these songs, and I was like, I don't know if I really could see anyone else singing this besides me. And it was kind of a transition for me mentally to be like, okay, I'm going to be writing for me now. So, like, what is it that I want to say? And then how is that different from, like what I write for other people? And it's like when you write for other people, you become kind of a chameleon and you try to like take on their perspective and think like through their lens of how they see the world. And then I had to actually be like, wait, Meg, how do you see the world? And it was a challenge. I was like, I can't believe I've never, like, it was definitely a journey for me to get there. So the songs on there, like, since I'm such a, like, crazy, like, control freak about songs and, like, and obsess over them, I feel like it was really hard for me to, like, let go and be like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. And, like, I'm going to record this and it's going to be what it is, like whatever. I'm just gonna pick the song that feels right. So that was a cool journey for me. I don't know if
Well,
any of that made sense. I just rambled on. Classic.
hey, I always say the more an artist talks and gives a response, the better it is for me because I just like. And well, you've got 9 songs out on there. I know one of them's the acoustic of Stardust, but anyway, do you have a personal favorite out of the 8 songs?
Man, of the recordings, I think Mary Jane is my favorite. I just think it's like has such a great, and it's obviously like the one we've been pushing hard, but like I love them all. They're all my babies, but Mary Jane has a feeling to it that I feel like that was a song I originally was like, I can't cut that. Like I wrote it and I was like, it's so fun, but it's just so like stupid. I was like, it's just so goofy. And I was like, my manager's like, no, like it's really cool. And Aaron Ratier and Petrov, who's my producer, like I wrote it with them that day and it was so easy. It just fell out and we got done with it and we're like, this is actually really cool. So like it was a song that I had to warm up to. Like I was like, oh my God, am I gonna be just singing about weed now or whatever? And I was like, wait, but that's who I really am. So once I kind of like I think that song was a turning point for me to be like, I can actually just release whatever I want right now. And so that one I think captured a cool vibe.
Well, I also see that song as, it leads off the album. I mean, it's the first song. If you go onto a streaming service, it's the first song you're going to listen to if you start from the top. And it just sets the whole vibe for the album. And
Yeah,
now, for
it's
I mean, I feel like you described it already, but for those who haven't heard Mary Jane and Chardonnay, what is the song about, and what was your thought process behind the whole writing session for
so we came in and Ray Tier is like a good friend of mine and he's hilarious and he writes a lot of funny songs. But he goes, I have this idea that I think will be perfect for you. It's like a doobie and Cabernet or something like that. It was like some iteration of that idea. And I was like, I don't really drink red wine. I drink white wine. And I was like, my mom drinks Chardonnay. And so that's usually what I buy because I don't know what else to buy. I'm like, my mom drinks it. And I was like, and he lived with Ben, my boyfriend at the time. We would all hang out on the porch. So he knew my habits. And I was like, what about this? And then we just started on this like chorus of like he's like, it's just paper and leaves. And I came back with like the bottle of grapes thing. And then we just kind of like rapid fire, like back and forth, back and forth. And then within 5 minutes, we had like the chorus, and we're like, this is pretty catchy. And then we're like, so what is it about? And I'm like, it's not about the smoking and drinking. It's about the like decompressing and the taking the edge off of the day. And there's like whatever that is for you. I was joking because Ben has a like 7-year-old niece, and the other day she was drinking Powerade and eating pork rinds, and I was like, "Hey, her Mary Jane Chardonnay is Powerade and pork rinds, different for everybody." So whatever it is for you, might be a football game and a beer or whatever. But yeah, I feel like feel good songs are there's so many sad girl country songs, you know. So I was like, let's
Need the
just
fun songs.
let's just have a little drinking song,
Well,
a psychedelic one.
absolutely. I mean, that's a great way to put it. And for you as the artist, I mean, I just listened to your music. I've listened to this album multiple times, and you've got this really cool sound. It's kind of like I don't know if you've seen this movie, and I'm just saying this because I literally watched it 2 days ago. But I watched this movie on Netflix called Galaxy Quest, which is
Okay,
like
I need to watch that.
it's funny, but it's like a revamped 70s space show. And I don't know, I just
Oh,
they go on a mission. It's like the 90s, a whole different story. But the point I'm getting at is it's like this whole 70s kind of vibe that you've got going on. It's like a spacey kind of thing. I love it. Like,
thank you.
where did you get this sound from?
And I think it's a combination. I was thinking about this the other day. Someone's like, who are your influences? And I was like, it's kind of all over the map. And at the time I was making the record, I was listening to a lot of the Grateful Dead. I was listening to a lot of Allman Brothers, but I was also listening to a lot of like classic country and storytelling music like Emmylou Harris. And I love like the Waylon and Willie album. I was really heavy on that. So I'd be like, I would go into my session, like when we did Mary Jane Chardonnay, I was like, there's a song on the Waylon and Willie album called I Can Get Off on You. And I was like, drums sound in this is awesome. And I was like, the drum sound is like what I'm after today. Like this, whatever this flat like 70s thing. And then we would like build off of that. And then the guitar in that is like super dead inspired. And then like the melody itself is like more kind of like a modern, there's like a pop melody to it. So it's like kind of everything that someone said Allman Brothers and Sheryl Crow. And I was like, hey, I'll take it.
That's
But
not a bad mixture.
not a bad mixture at all. So I kind of roll with that. But I have a wide variety. I grew up listening to the Eagles with my dad, and then we'd listen to country, or I would listen to R&B. I'm like really, I was really into like R&B growing up, and Alicia Keys was like my favorite artist for a long time. And then like obviously just kind of I'm open to anything. I think that's what informs my music. Is I don't feel like the whole narrative around like this is country or this is not country or whatever. Like to me, that's tired. It's like I think the real country troubadours and the outlaws, like they were making it something it wasn't at the time, or they were going to like getting rock and roll influence and bringing it in. And so I think it's just storytelling. Like I think it's how you view the world. Like country music to me is I don't even that's not even what you asked. I just rambled on again. But I feel like I wanted to make my own flavor of it because it would have been easy for me to just say, well, this is like the formula for Nashville and this is how you're going to do it. But my producer has like a really creative mind and he's like, well, what if we did have that drum sound from there, but we had the guitar tone from this like 70s rock song. And then you're like, this chord progression is like, you know, classic 3 chord country kind of thing. But it's fun. It's like I feel like I have no limits on what I can make right now, and that's an exciting place to be.
I love it. I think that's a great answer. And it kind of leads to something I want to say, and that's that it doesn't really matter what something sounds like. If it's good, it's good. That's all that matters.
Yeah, makes you feel something.
Exactly. Well, like I did say this before, you were a co-writer on every song on the album, and you have written for a lot of people. So if you yourself could maybe think of one artist that you would dream that would cut your song, who would it be?
I mean, this current like moment in time with like what's ever, I would love perhaps to have a Chris Stapleton cut. Oh, I would love to hear Chris do one of my songs. But I know he cuts all of his own. He usually cuts stuff he writes, but
You
I
never know.
think he's the guy. I think to have a great songwriter like him cut another song, like that would be the best thing ever to me. Is if someone I respected like a songwriter was like, I want your song. That would be so cool. So I think Chris.
We could get this progressing faster if we just spam his email or something or Instagram comment.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we have enough mutual friends. I'm like, hey, Chris. Look, I would just love to write with him, but he has backlogs of songs. Like he has just thousands of songs. Like stuff that he puts on his new record, he could have written 10 years ago.
Oh, it's crazy.
So it's insane.
Well, you did hit the road with Morgan Wade this spring. How was that experience for you getting on the road, going all throughout the country? I know you came to Atlanta, play a show over in Georgia territory, your home state.
I did. Man, it was a blast. I honestly like after the tour, Anna came out with me, my guitar player, and she and I, it was like Thelma and Louise out there. We went to California, we rented a car in Salt Lake City and drove it through Montana, drove it down to Seattle, down to Oregon. We played Portland, then we did San Francisco, we did LA, Paso Robles. Like we put 4,000 miles on a rental car, and we had the time of our lives. And Morgan and her crew were just so cool to us and like family, honestly. And we're doing some more shows with them in September coming to Athens. I was going to tell you that, coming to the Georgia Theater.
You there?
But I just can't say enough good things about her and her fans are music lovers. The thing that was the coolest for me was like the diversity of her fans. Like it was all ages, like all genders. Like it was just like there wasn't one like archetypal Morgan Wade fan. Like she appeals to clearly a wide variety of people. So it was fun to play for that crowd.
Oh, Morgan's awesome.
And just she's the shit. She's funny. Her mom and stepdad live in Buford, my hometown. She came in uh the first day of the tour and goes, my mama goes to church with your high school boyfriend's cousin. And I was like, now we're family now. We're good. That's how small this world is. But
Well,
she's cool.
she sure is. And you got to play a lot of places throughout this tour and well, throughout your career so far. Do you have a number one place on your list that's been the coolest for you to play at? And also for the future, do you have a number one venue that's on your bucket list to play?
So this is gonna sound so lame, but we got to play the Ryman, and that was like my dream come true. And so that show, I got to bring my full band. We did like 40-minute set. We ended up getting a standing ovation. We all cried. It was like a really my drummer's from the UK and his family was in from England to like come to the show. And he had just moved here like 6 months ago. So like it was their first time seeing him play in the States and everything. And it was just like it felt like my wedding day. I was like, this is just like the best day ever. So like that would be like that's Nashville though. That's my hometown. So that's not a cool answer. That venue was that was my favorite show on the tour. But in terms of like the places, the Fillmore in San Francisco was pretty sweet. And there's so much history there. And the venue was just like magical. And so I don't know those Seattle Seattle might have been one of my favorites too. It's just like that the Pacific Northwest and that like West Coast that
Mhm.
is so fun because I'd never played in California. Well, I played with Lainey in California in January, but this like year was my first time playing there. It was my first time playing LA. I'd never been to LA. Drove down Highway 1, which it's called the One. I know I get it wrong, but drove down the One and like that was magical. I think the West Coast is I think it's just new to me and
I think an important question there is, and I think this is for me the most important question. Did you have In-N-Out Burger?
I did. I did.
Thoughts?
I so my guitar player we were like, okay, we had this whole plan. We're like, we're gonna get to the One around like 5:30. It's gonna be like the sun's gonna start setting. We're gonna be driving down the PCH, like looking at the ocean, driving through Malibu. We have to get in and out and have some fries while we're doing it. So we went through in and out, and it took forever. And I was like, we're missing the sunset. I was freaking out, and we ended up getting our fries and like made it just in time. We were like in Ventura, California, and so I did have in and out in the most California way possible.
Did you like the food? Because a lot of people on the East Coast say In-N-Out's overrated, and I highly disagree.
I think it was great. I love the simplicity of the menu. I think that's like it's old school. There's like four things.
I don't know if I could repeat this, but I hear there's a secret menu.
Oh yeah. Like,
I
is it like the cheesy fry? Well, I guess they have the cheesy fries.
think it's like, well, like the animal fries and all that stuff.
All right. Well, I'm going back on Tuesday, so I'll let you know.
Let me know. Animal fries for the win. They are
I'll
good.
send you a pic. I'll tag you.
Sounds good to me. And before we go, this is the last question I've got for you. So if you, with just one sentence, could pitch "Is It Just Me" for fans to listen to, why they should give it a listen, how would you fit it into one sentence?
Oh, one sentence. I
Yeah,
guess I would say if you're looking for something different, something a little psychedelic, but something that still feels familiar and nostalgic, you'll like my record.
I like it. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna describe it in two words. It's awesome. That's all you need to
Oh, thank you.
know.
Thank you. I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of it. So,
It is a great record, and for those of you that haven't heard it yet, you should go stream it now because, well, I mean, you're just missing out on fun music. Meg,
yeah, it's summertime. It's summertime music. So we're just at the right time of year.
I mean,
Right.
I was just listening to the one I loved back then, George Jones, and that's the song about the Corvette. If you've got a Corvette, that's a good vehicle to listen to. Is It Just Me in? Because he got the windows rolled down, the convertible going.
Yes. Windows down music. That's what we're
Mm,
after.
Meg, thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure having you on here.
Thank you so much for having me. That was a blast.
Of course, and if you don't follow Meg on Instagram and the rest of the social media platforms, go ahead and do that. Like I said, stream Is It Just Me, and we will see you guys next time.